Hey, how's it going? Who's that? Who's here? Who's that? All right. Hello. Oh my gosh, there's already 11 participants. You know, we're out on the lake today. Check it out. Can you see it?
Look, here's our thing.
Oh, there's Dominic and Paige and John. And Tom, James is over there somewhere. All right, who else is on here? Oh, look, I think, who is that?
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. I'm wonderful. All right, I'm getting this together so I can see you guys. All righty, here.
Tom had me move.
All right, you guys. We are out at the lake tonight. This is going to be fun. We're going to have our meeting out here. And we've got some great stuff happening. Hello, Miss Lanny.
Oh, yeah.
And let me see here. I'm going to do this a certain way. Hi, Peggy.
Hello, Marianne and everybody else.
Hey, everybody. All right, we got a couple minutes here. If you guys want to say hi, and then, like, can you see the lake? Can you see what's going on here? Oh my gosh, look, we've got the tangy and all kinds of stuff.
Isn't that fun?
Oh my gosh. This
How
is so
fun is that?
Wow. So much.
What a beautiful day.
I think I need my shades. Yeah, it's a little sunny out here.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, let's see if we can find Tom. He just went up to the house. He's gonna do it from there. And we got some other people kind of showing up. So that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, who else is on? If you guys want to, oh, someday you'll be there. Yes, you will, Miss Pamela. Yeah, now, you know, Tom's always saying, come on out and check it out. I think more people want to show up now that we have it at the lake, right? Hey,
you can't beat that.
No, you cannot. Cannot beat that at all. Let me know if you
I heard
see,
Scott is fired up for tonight. Is that true?
It looks like it. Look, he's there. He's smiling. He's wearing his blue shirt. I like it.
I'm still attempting to figure out how to get video. You can see me and I'm not seeing you.
We can see you, so don't do anything you wouldn't want us to see.
Yes.
Oh, go down to the far left and see if it says your video is started. Tom, are you on here? Oh, look, I just seen him. He just showed up. All right, perfect. Hang on, I'm going to spotlight you.
Yeah.
And we got like 1 more minute. So if you're coming on, say hi.
Do you have Scott spotlighted?
No, I have you spotlighted. Do you want me to spotlight Scott?
No, Scott next. Yeah, fine, but not me now. Just when we introduce Scott.
Okay. All right. Perfect. All right. 30 seconds, everybody, and then I'm going to mute everybody. All right, here we go. All right. Tom, are you on your phone or you want me to unmute you? How are you doing it? Unmute. There's so many people on here, which is awesome. Hold on. Okay, I unmuted you. Okay,
Yeah,
go.
I got you. So that's because Scott Farduas is on here, and as soon as we announce Farduas, bam, here comes the crowd. So that's good news. Congratulations. I think you guys should see my shirt. It's the hamster who escaped from the wheel. So I thought you'd find that nice. It's actually a little better than looking at my face for a few minutes. Marianne is down on the lake. So I want to show you this real quick because I'm up above her and you can see her there. So I can't see what you see, but I have a feeling I can. But there she is. There's people just showing up out here, getting ready for the meeting, getting ready to have some fun. We're going to put 25 people minimum just facing towards the lake. And I'm going to speak from the lake toward the people. And we're going to have ourselves a heck of a meeting tonight. And, you know, everybody talks about our new house. Our new house doesn't even have carpet. I mean, these people lived here for 20 years with no carpet. They had pets the whole way. Look at that antiquated chandelier there. And this is not their fault. This was their home. But these rooms were so just cat and dogs and stuff like that. We had to literally tear up the carpet and really use all that stuff to make sure we got rid of all the odors. And it was a pretty crazy deal. And the reason I tell you that is because I just don't want you trying to think I'm big shot in the fact that we live on a pretty good sized piece of dirt on a lake. So here's what I want to do before I get to Scott Fardulis. A lady called me today named Catherine. And she hit me a couple of weeks ago with, how are you? And then she hit me with, you have to look at this link. And then she called me on the phone. So I thought she was a pretty ambitious young lady. So I returned her call. And today we talked. And her story is that she has a divorce. She's got 5 kids with this husband, and he had 3. So there's now 8 kids. She's in her mid-50s. She's been in several multi-level marketing deals. She's in 2 deals right now, one called Zija, one called Hilo. And she can't figure out why she doesn't make money. The entire conversation we had, she told me about Hilo and Zija, and I never told her anything about me. So I know her health, I know her money, I know her success, I know her hot buttons, I know everything. Normally I would wait a few days to call her up and say, I've been thinking about you. But since I'm really thinking about you guys, I'm gonna see if she picks up the phone right now and see if I can get her to just fall back in the interview trap one more time so you can see where I take it to the next spot. Oh, she lives in Mississippi, that's an important part. She moved from Houston, Texas to Mississippi. So now you know pretty much all I do. And she is one of the nicest women in the world, and I want you guys to meet her. So I've called her. She should be on hold right now. She heard my introduction. Hello, Catherine. I know. So I am doing kind of a training call for some people. And I wondered if your story was so extraordinary that I wanted these people to meet you, and maybe you could just tell them a little bit about you, about multi-level marketing. And I just want people to understand I was going to try to train you a little bit at the same time. How's that sound? Give me 1 second. So I've got to just move this phone around. So I hit send, which is Karma, before. Wow. So she heard me say everything I just said. So that's pretty funny. So now I got to back wheel it a little bit, and everything just changed because she heard me say everything I just said about her company and all that. So that's okay because I didn't say anything bad about her, but I want you guys to hear this because I can still take it from here. So here we go. So Catherine, I want to talk to you about multi-level marketing again. You told me that you were from Mississippi. You told me you were from Houston, Texas, that you moved to Mississippi, that you had 5 kids, and your husband has 3, and now you're in your mid-50s. He's an engineer with all kinds of patents. You'd like to make a lot of money, and you would also like to, and you love multi-level marketing. You've just never found what you said at the very beginning was the right company, but what you really meant was you'd never found the right mentor, and we clarified that, right?
This is correct, Tom.
Yeah. So, and I was trying to help you source why it was that multi-level marketing doesn't work for people. And you were telling me about Zija, and you were telling me about the Hilo bracelet. And even though you've lost 42 pounds on the Zija products, that you really thought your opportunity in life was going to be on the Hilo bracelet, correct?
This is correct.
Okay. You told me that your husband's health, he had a couple of major, I don't want you to go into that, but he had a couple of major heart issues to the point that he was taking 3 Percocets a day because those doctors kept trying to cover that pain versus treat it, right?
This is correct.
Okay. So what I want to ask you right now is about me. Wait a minute. Wait one minute. Our conversation earlier, did you think that was on a scale of 1 to 10? Did you think that what did you think that, what did you think that conversation was on a scale of 1 to 10, the one we had earlier? And don't lie. I mean, don't spare my feelings.
Sure.
What did you think it was?
Sure, absolutely. I thought it was a good 10, to be honest. You were engaged in conversation with me, and I felt like you were attentive, and I really enjoyed talking with you, and I felt like you would definitely call me back and follow up with me.
Let me ask you this. Your upline in Zija and your upline in Hilo. You and I met today, and I know your dreams. I know what you would do with the money. I know about your health. I know about your multi-level marketing experience. I know about your children. I know about your fears. I know about all that. Can you tell me that your sponsor that enrolled you in Zija or your sponsor that enrolled you in Hilo know as much about you as I do?
I would say that not the one in Zija, but definitely the one in the Hilo does.
That's cool. So here's the deal. And my point is, you rated that conversation on a scale of 1 to 10 as a 10. And the reason it was a 10 for you, and don't let this hurt your feelings in any way, shape, or form. And I promised you, I didn't promise you, I asked you if you knew Lorene Williamson there in Mississippi. And she's my buddy there, and she is an unbelievable person who as a reward for being on this call, I'm going to introduce you to Lorene Williamson. She's on the board of directors of the Association of Network Marketing Professionals, and she's a rock star in her own rank. So she'd be somebody good for you to know since you're not going to be able to go to Dallas this weekend. So underneath all that, and just as a favor for you helping me with this training call, I'll introduce you to Lorene. But what I want to tell you is we had a great conversation because I directed the entire conversation with questions, and you were talking about Zija and Hilo, and I was talking about Catherine Everett. So I kept the conversation out of my company, and I kept it completely on you. And the reason I decided to do a training call around that was because I think I can help you. And you told me you've been with a lot of companies over 25 years and never had real success. And I want to help you train yourself to be the best you. Because when people buy what you're selling, it's going to be because they bought Catherine, not because they bought those two companies. Sooner or later, those two, like you said, with the 42 pounds that you lost and the health that came out of your husband on the Zija side, and I have no idea what the heck this Hilo thing's about yet. But at the end of the day, and I will watch that webinar tonight, but at the end of the day, Catherine, what I want to help you learn is how to shift that conversation so you are focused on the person on the other end of the phone and not being one of those crazed multi-level marketers that just talks about product the whole way. Do you understand that?
Yes, absolutely.
Because everything that you hate about multi-level marketers, you kind of acted like on that call, because you really don't know anything about my wife. You don't know anything about my goals or my children or anything, because you didn't ask. You kept going straight to the, before you developed the relationship with me, you decided to go the other direction and go to the pitch. And, you don't even know if, what I didn't tell you is I know Nat and Shanita, and I know the Chongs, the kids. So I know everybody at the top of the Hilo company. It's called World, and you told me it was a startup, but it's not really a startup. It's just kind of a remake of an old company with a new idea. But at the end of the day, if you would have just asked me questions, I'm committed I never would have lied to you. And you would have known that I know more about Zurvita, I know more about Zija, and I know more about the Hilo company than probably you do. And I could have given you some insight, but you didn't ask me any questions. You just talked. So that's what I'm going to help you learn. And I promise you, I'll introduce you to Lorene. And I'm going to get out of here, but I just thought that this would be good for you as well as all these people that are watching me. Does that make sense?
That makes great sense. Thank you so much, Tom.
Oh, no, it's my honor. You're a rock star. Having somebody follow up like you followed up, and having somebody that was not afraid to call a guy like me, and you don't really even know who I am. I mean, we've never talked before. So what's so cool about it? And so you might have been a little intimidated if you'd have done a little due diligence, but maybe not. Maybe you are that bulletproof. But I'm telling you not to change that. And what you are is a tweak away from greatness in this profession. And what you said to me after I said it to you was what you think has been missing in your life is that great mentor. So you're right. And I know it's right. And I saw it today. And it's exciting for me, exciting for you. And one other thing on that Hilo thing, did they put you on a power leg or on an inside leg?
To be perfectly honest, I don't know.
Yeah, you ought to let me help. Yeah. So tomorrow when I talk to you, in 2 seconds, I can help you with your back office. And you don't have to tell me any numbers, but if you tell me just 1 or 2 numbers, I'll be able to tell you if you ended up on the wrong side of that equation too. And I'll tell you that tomorrow when I introduce you to Lorene.
Okay.
I love you, kid. I'm going to go back to my training, but what a day, huh?
Thank you so much, Tom. I appreciate you. I really do.
It's the best word. You're in the best profession in the world. And like I am telling you, you are hitting it way far down the fairway on that, off the tee box here. And just a little tiny tweak, and we're going to have your golf score change for the better. Is that a deal?
That's a great deal. I've always known that network marketing was the vehicle for my dreams and goals. I have, like I said, 5 children, and a lot of them roll their eyes every time I get involved with something.
Yeah, and you told me, and you said your 21-year-old daughter had a little bit of a rug pull today. So maybe we can talk to her tomorrow too. And I'll show her that there's still good people out here in this business. So I'll help you with everything I got.
Thank you so much, Tom. I appreciate that.
All right. You have a great night. How cool was that? That's what we do. Every one of us, every day. And if we do that, life gets better. That woman, even though that didn't go the way I wanted it to go, because I wanted to have that be a little more anonymous, that you were all there and I could have gone a little deeper with her. But at the end of the day, that's what we got. Is that amazing enough? Anybody got any? I see one person on the chat board. Hi, Mark. Anybody got anything that they want? How many people are on here, Marianne? Are we doing something different, or am I just screwed up?
No, we have like 46 people on here. No, you're doing good.
I can't see them.
Okay, that was awesome.
So everybody, is anybody confused as to what just happened? I did the coffee shop interview on her. She didn't even know it. She thought we were having a powerful conversation. She talked about her companies. She's in 2. And I talked about her. And then I came back and hit her with what she told me during the she loves the product. I can't talk her off of that Zija product. She's in love with whatever in that other deal. I can't even figure that out yet, but she's in love with that. I can't talk her off of that. But what I found was the wedge. I found the wound. I found the scab I can pick. And that scab just happens to be the fact that, I'm trying to show you the scab. It's just the fact that she has never had a mentor, and she's always been abandoned. and she's never made it. And she says all those other companies didn't have what, first when we started talking, she was telling me the companies that she's been in companies for 25 years, and she was trying to tell me they all suck. Well, we knew that wasn't true. So then I thought, wonder how coachable she is. So then we got into where she lives, and it's pretty obvious that she's gonna, she wants to build a business, but she's gonna be a little bit of a load. So the name of the game was probably hook her up with somebody locally like Lorene that could put her under her wing and teach her something. So that's what's so beautiful about this. All right, let me see about the questions here because this is fun. All right. Yeah, good, Peggy. Good iPhone. 470-434-2570. Smile face. I wish I had a local upline. You don't need an old, hey, no, you don't. Here's the deal. A local upline just gets in your way. That's all it is. You can ask Scott Fardulis. I am such a pain in the neck to Scott Fardulis. This is a true story that I screw things up for him so badly that my opportunity meeting is tonight, Tuesday night. And Scott Fardulis, to make sure that none of his leaders come to my Tuesday night meeting and get brainwashed by me, he started a leadership meeting on Tuesday nights in Loveland, 20 miles away, to make sure that he had his leaders insulated from me. Now, why am I telling you that? Because Scott Fardulis is a better network marketer than I am. And what Scott Fardulis is building a culture and a team, just like Luis Arriaza, Scott's way. And the last thing he needs is some copy shop interviewing two-way call, 2 interview a day, 1 3-way call, impossible conversation, choking off his organization to the point they can't breathe. He can't afford that. So he knows it. So he said, I got to build this thing my way. And do you think that broke my heart at all? No, didn't break my heart at all. That's leadership. He knew it was time, and he had to do it that way because he decided that that was what he wanted to do. Hello, Carissa Collins. So it's sick. I mean, this is so fun, and it is so doable. And if you can keep your ego out of it and just know that, the biggest earners in longevity haven't joined yet. But here's the deal. On 65 and a wake up, post that link, Marianne, please. I put Luis Arriaza's call from last Monday, a week ago, up on that wall and begged you guys to listen to it. And it was one of the harshest calls to action I've ever heard until today. And Scott Fardulis was talking about who was coming to Colorado for this training on June 13th. And the fact that it isn't sold out was breaking his heart because of the people that are coming. And how can people call him on the phone all the time saying, I want to do this, I want to build this. And we say, here's an event that you can come to that is going to be small enough that you can get everything. It's here in Colorado. It's only $75. You need to come. And all of a sudden, the excuse machine turns on and everybody's got something better to do. Well, we aren't buying that real estate, and Scott especially. So we're going to let him come at us right now with both barrels unplugged and turn it loose. So Scott, I hope you're here still, and I love you.
I love you too, Tom. Can you hear me okay?
Perfectly.
Beautiful. Isn't this great? It's like we're in the living room chatting with each other.
Amen, baby. I love you.
This is the coolest thing. All right. So, yeah, Tom and I had a wonderful conversation today, and everything he said is exactly right. And we had just an unplugged conversation ourselves, and Tom said, would you mind taking that same emotion and that same passion that you're sharing with me right now and get unplugged with these people? And I said, I will. I also said that I was a little nervous to do that because, I don't know, personally everybody on this phone call. So what I have to do before I share anything here is just, ask for that umbrella of mercy before I even say anything, because the last thing I want is for someone on here to tune out because they're saying, man, that Scott guy, he is such a jerk. He's so pompous. He's so arrogant, and he's just all full of it. And, that can happen. So anyhow, yeah, here we go. So, I just was thinking this morning, and I'm going, wow, here we have this leadership mastery course that is coming up in 2.5 weeks. And I've got the roster. It's right here. And I'm looking at the names on it. And thankfully, Marianne Niehaus is on that list, or I would really be upset. But, I can see the list of names that are on there. Here's the thing that strikes me sideways, is that the people that I get the most complaints from, the people that I get the most phone calls from, the people that make the most whining and the most noise, and if only I had this and I had that and I don't have an upline and it's not a good one, and I don't connect with this person and there's nobody there to teach me or train me, and they just go on, and it's a broken record all the time. They're the ones that aren't coming to Leadership Mastery. So here's the thing. I'm going to give you a great example. There was a term that was super popular in like the 70s and 80s, and then it still gets used today, but not like it was back in the 70s and 80s. Have you ever heard the term called poser? Just shake your head on camera if you've heard the term called poser. Okay, so you know what a poser is. That's someone who pretends to be something that they're not. Let's take something obvious. Maybe you want to wear a certain style of clothing. Let's just say, here's a real popular one. You wear surf style clothing. It says Billabong right across the front of your shirt, but yet you've never even stood on a surfboard. So why would you label yourself to be a surfer? There you go, Tom. Why would you label yourself to be a surfer when you don't even like surfing? You've never even thought about it, but you wear that type of clothing. So you see, these are things that we do to brand ourselves so people will think a certain thing about us when we're really not that thing. And it means that we're hiding behind something. So let's take that and transfer that over to network marketing. Why would you pretend to be a network marketer when you're not a network marketer? Why would you put up that facade? So here's the point I want to make. We get on these conference calls, we get on these webinars, we put the time, the energy, and the effort, and some of you have the bragging rights to say that you've been a part of Youngevity for, let's just make up a time period and call it a year. That's a pretty respectable, reasonable time to belong to something. Well, why would you belong to something that you're not getting the benefits of? Does this make sense to you? Why would you be part of a club if you didn't enjoy it? Would you join bingo if you didn't like playing bingo? Would you join the knitting club if you didn't like knitting? Would you join the motorcycle club if you didn't like motorcycles? No. So why did you join the network marketing club when you don't like network marketing? And then all of a sudden you're going, well, wait a second. I like network marketing. No, you don't bloody like network marketing. You don't like network marketing, or you would network. You would market something through your network. But the fact that you don't recruit, the fact that you don't invite, the fact that you don't do three-way calls, the fact that you don't call Tom or Marianne or myself or Joanne Johnston on the phone and say, hey, I need help. Can you give me some assistance? I've got a list here. Where's your list? For goodness sakes. We teach this stuff all the time. Where's your list? Why haven't you flooded your upline to say, here's my list. Thank you, Marianne. Here's my list of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 people. I'm all about it, and I'm ready to get busy. But instead, what do? You spend all of your time on Facebook. You spend all of your time on social media, liking this and liking that, and making sure you've got all of your friends for everybody to see how popular you are with certain names and people. But guess what you're doing? You are posing. You're pretending like you're a network marketer, but you don't know how to network market. If you knew how to network market, your business would be growing. You'd be recruiting. We would see you rank advance. We would be talking about you. You'd be the talk of the town. But the fact that your name doesn't come up anywhere, any place, anyhow, other than through social media, tells me that you're posing. So what's really this all about? Is it about belonging? Do you need a church to go to? Do you need an organization to belong to so that you have friends? Is that really what it's all about? I hope that's not the case. I hope that deep down inside, you're willing to just say, okay, call a spade, fair is fair. I'm just scared half out of my wits because the bottom line is I don't know how to talk to people. I don't know what to say to people. It seems like everything that comes out of my mouth is constantly wrong. Well, I've got news for you. That's a good start. That's at least honest. That's at least telling the truth. That's at least the way that it really is. But now it's like the person who's an alcoholic. Until you say, I've got a problem, nobody knows you need help. Or better yet, we can see that you have the problem. You're not hiding from anybody really. As soon as we can see that you have the problem, we can call you on it and we can say, we see you, you're not hiding, but until you admit I've got a problem, then nobody can help you because it's going against your will. Does this make sense? So back to this poser thing. Anybody can put on the clothing and be guilty by association because you belong to the Youngevity database and people can see you on the social networking chat lines. What if you spent half, and I'm not saying this like tongue in cheek, but what if you spent half less of your time on social media and you actually did a money-making activity? It's ironic that Tom just got on the phone with this lady named Catherine Everett. And what a cool phone call that was. Do you realize what happened there? Tom was putting his teaching, his wisdom, his experience, his expertise, he was putting it out there to show you that he's not just about the talk, he's about the walk. He's saying, I have prospects too. And I go through this stuff too. And I'm still willing to practice so that I can get better. That's why Tom did that. He didn't have to do that so you could publicly hear his call. He did that so that he could demonstrate and show you proof and evidence that this is the way that it gets done. Why would a lady play for more than one team? I mean, on all of sports and all of the business world, I've never seen a success story come out where somebody said that they played for the New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox at exactly the same time. You cannot put on two different uniforms. You have to be something. If you don't stand for it, then you get to fall for everything. So when somebody comes forward with Arbonne next week, that Catherine Everett lady, she's going to be signing an application for Arbonne. And then they're going to come at her the next week after that with a different company, and she'll sign up for that uniform too. So the deal is you have to stand strong and you have to stand tall, and you got to know that you belong to the Youngevity team, and there's no more posing. So it's time to play, not look like, my kids all play sports. And you know what? The worst thing in the world is to sit on the bench. How horrible is it to be on the team but never get to play? That's the worst in the whole world. And that happens all the time. I've seen it happen with my kids. There's been different times in their careers where they've not been able to take the field. And there's no better feeling in the whole world than to be recognized as good enough to take the field. What's great about Youngevity is that you have the ability to say, put me in the game, coach, I'm ready to play, and they're not going to bench you. If you raise your hand and say, I'm ready to play, you are going to get field time and you're going to get playing time. The only reason you're not on the field right now playing is because you haven't asked to be put into the game. So the way you get asked in Youngevity to be put into the game is simply to say, I've got a list and I'm willing to exercise my belief and my passion about network marketing and Youngevity. I just simply need to know how to be effective talking to these people. And I get it, because then you say, well, I've burned through that list. By the way, Tom, am I taking too much time? All good? You want me to slow down? Too blunt? Okay. So you've got to give us that list. And if you don't give us that list, you will get ignored because we don't have time to think about you. We only have time to think about the people that want to rank advance and better their lives. So if my phone doesn't have a copy of your list in here, all you are is a name in a database to me. And you say, well, how come you don't ever call me? How come you don't ever do this for me or do that for me? I reward good behavior. What business person on the planet would reward bad behavior? When do we give out brownie buttons and bozo prizes for people that don't perform? And if you were in a corporate job, you would have a review, a formal professional review. They would call you in quarterly and say, let's take a look at how you're performing. You know what? Your numbers are down. You know what? You haven't done your job description. You know what? There's somebody that wants to. You're done. You're fired. Or here's a pink slip or 2 or 3, and you get that warning and you're gone. But in network marketing, we just find that it's easier to complain and talk about how something's not fair. Here's what's fair. fair is, if you want a piece of this pie, then act like you want a piece of the pie and don't keep making excuses about how you don't know somebody. Everywhere I go, I continually prove that it doesn't matter whether you have a big or warm market list. If you drop me off in the middle of New York City, which I've only ever been to 5 times total in my life, so relatively speaking, I don't know anybody in New York City, not to mention there's millions of people there. But I wouldn't feel lost for a second, not 1 second. If you gave me an hour, I'd have 6 friends. I would know enough about them that I would know where to hang out. I would know how to connect with those people. I would know how to invite them. I'd know how to make them feel like I was the person driving the train and they were just fortunate to be one of the passengers on my freight train. That is how you get posture and confidence. And until you get posture and confidence about yourself and what you stand for and about what you believe in, then nobody's going to follow you. Listen, Leadership Mastery. Why the heck are you not registered for Leadership Mastery? Are you people out of your mind? Are you out of your mind by not coming to Leadership Mastery? Because I'm going to tell you something. That thing should cost about $2,500 by my token. Because I look at Anthony Robbins and Danny Johnson and Eric Worre and all these people that make millions and millions of dollars doing training seminars and writing books and telling you about how you need all of their wisdom and expertise. We're bringing that, the best in our industry, the best of Youngevity, we're bringing it to you for free. You don't have to pay any of these people for their time, and they should charge the heck out of you. But they're not going to do it. Every person coming, and I've got a list in front of me, there are 17 people that are going to contribute to Leadership Mastery. And that is a lot of wisdom. That's a lot of insight. That's a lot of passion. And if you're not taking that seriously, then why should you take that seriously? So please don't call me after Leadership Mastery and tell me that you're lacking something or that you don't have it. Because we're going to lay it all on the field. We're going to spend every ounce of emotion and every ounce of energy that we have pouring out to the people that took it upon themselves to be there. And if you're going, well, yeah, but it's $75, that $75 isn't to pay the people that are speaking. It's to pay for a really, really expensive convention room where we have sound equipment and we have people handling all of the multimedia that's going to be used. It has to go to pay those guys. So take that seriously and bring your teams there. And for those of you that are coming and you don't have your teams there, do you know how much work you're going to have to do coming out of that thing if you don't have your people in those seats? You're going to have to regurgitate everything. And guess what? You can't do it. You can't regurgitate all of that information back to people and give them any value. So it's completely pointless. So here's the thing, in conclusion, and my rant will be over. My rant will be over. And I know you're thinking this is quite a rant.
We have till 6:30. You got plenty of time.
It is time for you guys to take yourselves seriously. Don't tell us that you don't know anybody. Stop going on social media and why do we want to listen to you? We don't care what you have to say on social media. You know why we don't care what you have to say on social media? It's because you don't have results. You're not putting points on the board. You're not rank advancing. You're not recruiting. You're not getting help. You're not doing any of those things. So when you give us advice on there, guess what I do with that stuff? It goes straight into the trash can. That's where it goes. It doesn't mean that it doesn't have value. It means that value is associated with people who have or are in the process of accomplishing something. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So now that I have totally wiped out and annihilated this entire cast of people.
Our numbers are down.
Our numbers are down. People are hanging up left and right.
We lost 3 people.
No, I see that the numbers have gone up by 12
They
since I
have
started.
gone up. They have
That's
gone
good
up.
news. That's good news. So now that everybody hates me for being brutally honest, here's what I want to see everybody do. I want you to make that instead get some thick skin. Don't say Scott Fardulas blew me out of the water with that rant. You get some thicker skin. If I'm capable of making you quit, then something else much lesser than this is going to come along and you'll quit over that too. So this is a chance for you to get some rhinoceros skin. They're not taken down by BB guns. They need bazookas. And I don't advocate taking out rhinos, but I just want to make the metaphor that that's the kind of thick skin that you need to have. Multiple layers thick so that really it takes a lot to disturb you. This call here should not be disturbing because this is about leadership. And if you want to get some really great thick skin, then show up to Leadership Mastery. So back over to you, Tom. Thanks for letting me share my heart a little bit.
Okay, so here's the deal, you guys. You thought I was just not charming. God, you're upline. Keep him on camera. I look terrible. Scott, you're upline. Your direct upline. When was the last time he had a meeting for you, did a three-way call for you, anything for you? You guys don't even know Scott's got an upline. That's not me. And the reason is because Scott doesn't need an upline. That's not me, because I'm his upline. But if Scott had to sit around and listen to all this posing about not having an upline, you need to give that up. You know, Cheryl Morley called me today, and you're Scott's upline too. And she said, Tom, we need to devise where the power is in our relationship. And I said, here's where our power is. I want you to tell me what you are extraordinary at that I'm no good at. And that way I can send people to what you are extraordinary at. She said, Croto and I love this health evaluation. We love the whole deal of that. I go, perfect. So I don't have to fake like I'm going to carry that ball, because I've got her doing that. And every one of you can learn from that, because stop thinking your upline's going to be good at a bunch of things. If you had me for just your upline, you would be like Scott Pardulis and wanting to blow your brains out, because I have got so many things I'm not good at. It's unbelievable. And one of our problems that Scott and I have is we're very much alike. So we don't cover a lot of the bases that really need to be covered. Cheryl Morley is actually more valuable to Scott Pardulis building his business than Tom Chenault is. Truth of the matter. Because she covers bases that I don't necessarily cover for him. And he and I cover a lot of the same bases. I say this all the time. He's actually better at being me than I am, which is awesome. That's all you ever look for in network marketing, because now I've got Scott doing all the work and I just eat bonbons. It's awesome, right, Scott?
It really is. And you know what, Tom, the reality is that you have never been easy on me. You've never been easy on me, because you wanted to develop somebody that wouldn't mean that your life was going to have to be high maintenance. What if you created inside of me, through the wrong kind of leadership, somebody with super thin skin that was always whining and complaining at you and taking up all your time? I mean, wouldn't you say now that when we talk, by and large, our conversations are pretty short? There's nothing major that we have to discuss. Sometimes we do a little bit of fine tuning. You're an incredible mentor at that, but you developed in me a thick skinned, tough person that knows how to love on people. And I can be soft if I have to be soft, but when I know that something needs to be said, you've never seen me back down from sharing an appropriate message to anybody. Not Steve Wallach, not Dave Brisky, not Tom Chenault. Have you ever seen that?
I've never told you to sell out your integrity. I've never told you to worry about being popular. Heck with popular. Heck with anything other than being true to your word and yourself. And I look at the people on here. I see Manfred from New Zealand, who is one. You and I had conversations. Scott calls me today and says, let's you and I go down to New Zealand together, Tom, and do a meeting. I said, no, I'm not going with you, Scott. He goes, what? And I go, no, I'm not going with you. Didn't you say that?
Yes.
And the reason, he thought I hated him. But that's stupid having Scott and I go at the same time when we can split up and do twice as much good down there. And even though we don't get to be with each other, if he really wanted to see me, he'd come over 20 miles from my Loveland anyway. We don't have to go to New Zealand to be together. But the point is, we know Manfred is the driver of New Zealand. We know that for a fact. This guy has got game. We know Ron Carr down in Texas is a rock star. We know Lanny Sharp is over the top, unbelievable. We know that Joel Malley and Nikki, you've got your areas of strength that are unbelievable that you are training and developing to do the same thing that I literally did with you. So you can throw them the baton and say, this is your game from here on out. That's what this is all about, you guys. You don't want to be the man. And what everybody wants is all this recognition and all this accolade and all this jazz. Not me anymore. What I want are my people to get all that jazz, because it's a job well done by me and it lets me go live my life. And that's what I want. And so, yeah, it's cool stuff, right, Scott?
Absolutely. Agreed. Very much. Yeah. And so, I am looking forward to getting down to New Zealand. So for all of you that are on New Zealand, we'll have this conversation, and I will plan a trip to come down there right after the 20-year convention, sometime after that. So we'll get down to your neck of the woods.
Before we go there, isn't it pretty clear to you that nobody reads yesterday's newspapers?
Very clear.
You can't ride what you built at another company or even what you built at Youngevity forever. You've got to be relevant. And, one thing, I'm in this 65 and a wake up group now, where everybody there is committed to 2 interviews a day and 1 3-way call. And it's being led by Denise and I. And the last thing she and I need to be doing is interviewing 2 people a day and 3-way and 1 for our business. It's not going to affect our paycheck one way or another, no matter how many of those we do. But what's going to affect our paycheck is having our entire teams seeing we're doing it, we're getting our heads knocked in, and all that stuff. And that was funny what you were talking about, that lady, Scott. I'm going to get her off of joining Arbonne and every other shiny object. I thought I trained you. So anyway, she's not going to be like that anymore. We're going to teach her that she's, that Zija and that World Deal and the other 30 companies she's joined, those were all like going to 30 different colleges to get her degree. And she finally graduated from Harvard, Pamela Schwartz. And she's out there, and we're going to be able to help her get her education and put it to work, right?
Yeah, Tom, this reminds me of a gentleman that's very well known. I'm not going to say his name because, some people will recognize his name. But, he came to me years ago, and he questioned my decision to start with Youngevity in a small time company in 2011. We were doing, a 10th the volume that we're doing now in 2011. And he asked me, he goes, "What are you thinking?" He goes, "You're too good for Youngevity." And what he was saying is, he goes, "Did they sweeten the pot for you? Did they do something that would tantalize or incentivize you to go to Youngevity?" And I said, "If you're asking me if they have paid me in some way or
John. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. If you're asking me if they paid me or they've done something to my bonus check, absolutely not." And he goes, "You're too good for that. You shouldn't have, at your experience level in the industry, you shouldn't have to start over. You should only go to a company that recognizes for what you've done in the past and lets you start, with that in mind." And I said, "Listen, let me tell you why that is false theology. The reason why that's false theology is because I have to live with myself every night that I go to bed. And I have to think about the lips that I have and what comes out of those lips and what meets other people's ears. And then what hits their ears has to match my footsteps. And if all that stuff doesn't line up with integrity, I'm screwed. And it's going to come out and it's going to bite me in the biggest way. And that's no way to build long term. So guess what, to this person, I'm going to fill out an application like everybody else. And I'm going to start as an associate, and I'm going to start building my team in the best way that I know how to do. And I'm going to lead by example, because I want people to know that I can start from scratch and I can go back to the top of the mountain. And just because I got to the top of a mountain someplace else doesn't give me the right to leapfrog from Mount Evans over to Long's Peak for you Coloradoans. You got to go back through the valley again. And I think that has, a lot of relevance to what we're talking about. What do you think, Tom?
100% correct. And, people, when you're big like that at another company and then not doing anything at Youngevity and riding a position or riding a check and telling everybody it's because you've got this circumstance or that circumstance, or I'm promising you they're watching you and it's invalidating and you don't want to be invalidated. So what I want you to think about is that just think about the message that you're giving to your team. And I'm watching Pamela Schwartz and Lorette Willis and Roxana are just three people off the top of my head that are taking this interviewing seriously and really filling up their pipeline and watching that thing come to life, where they're actually able to have a new problem, and that is handling all the leads that they've got and knowing that they've got to take the people that are product users to a tool like Cheryl and Paul's deal, or to a Dead Doctors Don't Lie tape or something like that, and then take the business builders to a three-way call. And you know, Youngevity is a serious company, and we are so much more than vitamins and minerals or DAC services or anything. We are people that are committed to changing this world. And Memorial Day was yesterday, and one of our people went out with his own time, his own money, and his own lungs and his own lips, and he played taps 101 times all over this wonderful military cemetery called Fort Logan Cemetery. And I'm telling you, I posted 2 different times of him doing it because it made me cry all day long. And it made me cry for a patriotic reason. It made me cry because I was proud. And it made me cry because this guy is desperately wanting to build a Youngevity dynasty. He chose us because of Dr. Wallach, Dr. Wallach's military service, Dr. Wallach's everything. And with that, I want you guys to meet Mark Stallings. Mark, hello.
Mm-hmm. Hi.
What's happening? Put him on the screen. I don't see him.
Do you see
Hello,
him?
Mark.
Hey, I'm here.
How are you?
I'm tired. The chops are a little angry, but they'll get over it.
So tell us about first of all, how long, what branch of the service were you in?
U.S. Navy,
And how long were you in there?
28 total.
28 years total.
Yes, sir.
Unbelievably patriotic man.
Sir.
And left the service, started riding your bicycle, started living your life and looking for something extraordinary to do where you could take all your skill sets and put them to work, still stay patriotic, still stay true to your cause, surround yourself with some unbelievable mentors like Scott Pardulas.
Like
And the
Scott.
rest is history, right?
Yes.
And here you are today. Why did you do that yesterday for the 3rd year in a row?
Because there's too many 3-day sales. There's too many people worried about barbecue, and there's not enough people realizing that Memorial Day is not a celebration day. It's a day of reverence, and it's the right thing to do.
And what kind of feedback did you get from people?
Tears, hugs, gracious thank yous. They handed me money, which is all going to the Gary Sinise Foundation through Be the Change. Got the cashier's check, just got to mail it out. Just absolute graciousness. Stunned that I'm even out there. And then stunned that I go back out the next day and finish up the job.
Well, here's why I think God had you do that. Because you have a tendency to talk too much, and I think God had you playing that bugle so you could listen and interview more. How do you like that? Isn't that funny?
I keep telling myself I need to learn to listen more and I need to talk less, but the horn speaks through me in ways that I can't ever express.
You are an unbelievable. We are all completely and totally in awe of you.
Thank
you. You know, it's my understanding, as if Scott said we had, I think, 17 different people coming. He forgot to mention that you are going to play your taps at that Leadership Mastery event. Is that correct?
Yes.
Isn't that? So everybody that's there is going to see something that very few people on this planet have ever seen in person, and that's Mark Stallings play that bugle. Did you play it in the Navy, by the way?
Not as my job, but yes, I played it a lot.
That is so cool, Mark. Well, everybody, we love you, Mark Stallings. Thank you so much for being you. And now, Mary Ann, bring me back.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, he sent the check to Be the Change. Okay, so Mary Ann and Denise Chanel, she's around here. I heard her behind me. Let's talk about some interviews. I mean, you have turned into an interviewing machine along with a few other people, and now your pipeline is getting so full that your biggest problem isn't finding people to interview because they're coming out of the woodwork. Your biggest problem is how to handle all these leads, get samples to them if needed, sending them to a tool, and getting three-way calls set up for them. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's a lot of work, but it's fun. I actually, just sent out a couple of CDs to my friend that I interviewed on Saturday, that I hadn't talked to forever, and reaching out to people, I think, is the biggest part of it. And then I'm meeting, Trish and I are doing a meeting tomorrow with a lady that I called and interviewed earlier, and so that's going to be a three-way conversation. And as a matter of fact, she just texted me to confirm that. And so, yeah, now it's on, right? It's and like what Scott said. I mean, you can be when you're intentional about this. You can be in a place and make friends quickly and have conversations. And so, I think that's what it's brought a more awareness for me when I'm in those positions that. To take it a little bit further than, hey, how's it going? It's going great. How about you?
Right.
People are looking for that. People are looking for us to interact with them. And I did a video, so I'm going to upload that. I didn't want to do it now because we're on the video. I thought it would take too long, but I'll get it up.
Oh, good. No, that's perfect. We forgot to talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay. I want you to do the coffee shop, and I did it myself, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't very good, I don't think. I did on 65 and a Wake Up, I did the coffee shop interview on myself today. And I just basically told you where my fear resided. I told you where my dreams were. I told you what my goals were. I told you what stops me. And what I wanted you to get to was I want to see your interview. Because if you guys can do them for 5 minutes, I can watch you for 5 minutes and understand what's making you tick. And number two, I've got it memorialized because I can scroll down and find it on Facebook. But it's really given me the chance to really get to know you guys, and it's pretty cool. So it's that simple, and it's really easy to do. I just sat down with the camera and shot it. But I know every one of you could do me a 5-minute video like that. And what you're going to say is, oh, I don't look right. Look at me. I don't know what to say. Listen to me because I don't either. I mean, I am a living example that this can be done because I am nothing more than a hot mess. You guys saw Scott Pardulas. I mean, in that house, organized. His face never moved. His hair was perfect. He looked like $1 million. And then you had me. And that's what's so cool about this is anybody can do this. Because it's not what you look like on the outside. I'll never forget Martha Lowry was my biggest inspiration in Nu Skin when I first got into this profession. Because she was making $50,000 a month. And I watched that woman. She was an ex-cleaning lady for rich people. And one of the rich people said, you know, if you know anybody that's got any talent, you should have them call me because I know that you clean a lot of people's houses and you're bound to know somebody with talent. You know, just totally speaking down to her, but wanting her circle of influence. And that Martha Lowry got mad and said, wow, I can do this. I don't have to be that arrogant person. She went to another company and built that $50,000 check just because that person made her so mad that was her why. I mean, she said, How dare you? Because I have the humility to clean houses, to get money to feed my family. Can you say there's no fight in this dog? And that's what started her. And when I watched her, she was my kind of girl. Because, man, there was nothing in the way she looked that had you believe that she had that kind of heart, just like me. So, yeah, cool. So, what do you think of that, Marianne?
No, I love that. And it's, you never know what somebody's got, right? Under, I was going to say under that little shell, because I've met some people who have really just rocked this business that I, on first impression, might not have thought that they would be able to do it. And they have surprised me numerous times. And I think it's kind of like what Scott was saying too, you know, we can't read people's minds. They have to let us know that they want more. They have to come to us, right? If they're looking to do things in this business, they have to show up. Just like Tom said, or just like Scott was saying for mastery, you got to show up. You got to be at the meetings. You got to be that person that is building this business. Otherwise, you're just a poser. Otherwise, you know, it's more of a social club, and I think you're right about that.
Okay, that's cool. You have to bust through this fear, you guys. I don't know what's stopping you. If it's rejection, if it's looking good, if it's whatever story that has managed to keep you out of the game, you got to punch that story in the face. It's like this little guy. This is like the guy that rides on my shoulder all the time, you know, where all of us have that person that goes, oh, you don't want to talk to him. It's not the right time. You're not prepared enough. You don't have a CD. You don't have a bag of box or whatever it is, a BTT. This little guy that's just sitting on your shoulder, you know, you listen to this guy all the time, you guys. And here's the thing about him. This guy should not be telling you what to do. And that's number one. And number two, this guy that shouldn't be telling you what to do, you shouldn't take him with you everywhere you go. That's a terrible idea. But that's exactly what we do. We just pack him up so he can just rip off dreams and vitality and everything else all day long everywhere we go. And get sick of that. Punch that guy. I promise you. So it's over. And then when you take a look at what Fardulis did today, unbelievable. It took guts to come on here and unplug. And I can't thank him enough for that. Mark Stallings, cannot thank him enough for what he did for our country. There is nothing better than our core family of longevity. And it starts with Dr. Wallach and Steve Wallach and Michelle Wallach and Dave Brisky and his wife. Make no mistake about that. And those people are working when we're not. It's that simple. And if you guys don't all stop, Scott, I'm watching as you're all thanking Fardulis, saying you wish it was in his downline. It's making me crazy. I'm getting jealous again. I love you guys. This is so fun. I love this business. I'm laughing all the way to the bank. So I love you guys so much. Have a great night. It's 6 o'clock. Look at the sunset. It's getting cool. We're going to do a big opportunity meeting. I can't believe we're not set up yet. But we're going to do a big opportunity meeting. There's Marianne down there holding up her iPad just on the lake. The chairs, we'll have some pizza, maybe go for a boat ride. It's going to be glorious. It's going to be fun. And it's all of you guys. I love you with all of my heart. Everybody I'm sorry about that close up. Everybody have a great night. We will see you later.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Scott. Hope that pizza's gluten-free, Tom.
It is gluten-free. Yeah. We got all kinds of yummy stuff here. So you guys come to Colorado. Come to the lake. Let's ride in the boat. All right. We love you guys.
Love you guys.
Hey,
Bye.
Gary. Pamela. Woohoo. Cindy, Greg, Sherry, John, Becky. All right, you guys. Have a great evening.